Hello, people, and welcome. I am very excited to present to you the Forestmen's Deep Forest Fortress. This is what I've been spending my Lego time on the past few months, and I will be giving you the grand tour. When I first talked about building a main base or headquarters for the Forestmen, I actually thought about using the big base classic base plate. You see it over there. This one is from Fire Breathing Fortress, but it was actually too small, and I also had a spare from the King's Royal Castle, the bigger base plate. I wanted to make this really old school, so I have only used bricks before 1995. That's in 1995. I think that the Dark Forestmen were released, and no bricks after that. Besides there are a few minifigures here which are obviously newer, but they are easy to remove. I just think they fitted perfectly into the castle, so I could not resist putting them there. But let's take a closer look, because there's quite a bit to cover. The main idea of the set is actually that it's built up around 4 big black trees in the middle. If I move a bit around, I think you can get kind of the idea here. And then there is like a tree house up here. And I also, with a tree house, there's also a thing thematically which just is perfect, I think, is these bridges here. Fits the build perfectly for a Forestman hideout. If we move in a bit closer to the gate, it's just a classic wooden gate which opens like this, and in the back portcullis which goes up. I have yet to add some kind of string or mechanism which pulls it up, but I don't know if you can see it, but it is built into the tree trunks here, and is pretty easily defended if the Forestmen should get under attack. This bridge here is a perfect place to place some archers, and it would be very hard for other intruders to take the castle. Now let's move the castle around to see what else is going on. There is a big building here, and you might notice that there are 2 classic pieces from the King's Royal Castle here, and a Forestman is relaxing on the roof. I choose blue because I think that there are some other sets of the Forestmen which uses the blue as the color of the roofs. Let's move on to the back of the fortress. Very often the backs on castles are a bit more dull than the front, basically because you need to have some accessibility to reach inside the fortress, so it's just a bit more open here, but we can look at the different things going on here. Under the roof here is a room for the Forestmen to hid their loot. Apparently they stole, I believe it's a few barrels of wine up here, and there's also a fireplace, pretty classic build, and I also pretty much copied the table from the Black Knight's castle, which is black there and a bit smaller, but it's pretty much the same table. I actually think it's a very nice little build. Works perfect here. I choose red to give a bit more action of the colors here, because else it would be just a bit dark, all of it. If we look into the courtyard, there's a few things going on actually. First of all, they are able to train their archery back there. I had a spare one of those, very nice. And there's a small well for them to get water. And over here there's a small fire where they can make some food. I know these are not very old, but I could not resist just putting them down in the cauldron. And 2 minifigures are having a good time here, drinking a bit. Perhaps some of the wine they stole, we don't know. If we look in the back, there is a weaponsmith or armorsmith working on a sword here. And I wanted to show this one. I'm actually quite pleased with this one. His furnace or whatever it's called. I don't know if I copied this from somewhere. I might have done that subconsciously, but pretty neat, I should say. And this is just an anvil. It's not very particularly interesting. It gets the job done. Moving up to the tree hut, we have the leader of the Forestmen. Here he is. He's so happy with himself that he added the big feather in the hat to kind of show he's really the big boss around here. And this is just a bit of fun. I added this character. I don't know, I tried to make it from an old comic I read when I was a child. This is not highly relevant, but I could not resist showing it. It's this guy here. I don't know if you know it. I have no idea what it's called in English, but in Danish it's called Henrik and Haubart. And it was in these comics that the Smurfs actually were invented. And as a child, he was my big hero. And I think he looks pretty good. Almost. Very close, at least. I'm working to build this guy also. But enough about that. The leader of the Forestmen, of course, has his own throne, we could call it. I could not resist on using a gold parrot because I had a spare gold parrot. It just like fitted perfectly. It's look a bit like an Islander set, but yeah, this was just too good to go not to do. And I also added a few flowers because he likes flowers, particularly gold, I think. Let's move him back. There isn't a lot going on this side, apart from this guy who probably wants to steal the wine or the gold, or both. He's sneaking around. Never trust the wolf pack. There were a few things which I left out which should have been added in some way. I might add them later. First of all, the ability to draw up the pod killers, which is, I'll add this in some way. I don't know how yet. And I think the thing which annoys me the most is I didn't have the room for a prison. Every fortress, castle should have its own prison, so I might add this some way, but I couldn't really find any good spot for it. And that's pretty much it for the tour around the castle. Apparently some visitors are on the way. Black Falcon with a black sword on the way for an audition with the leader of the Forestmen. Apparently he's together with someone from the Dark Forest tribe. I wonder what they are going to talk about. Now let's follow the Black Falcon all the way up to meet the leader of the Forestmen. Hello, good people. Please open the gate. Absolutely. You may enter. Thank you. He enters. Hello, people. Oh, that smells wonderful. Perhaps you would share some with me later. Yes, of course. You're most welcome. Thank you. He enters. He walks up the stairs here. Moves around here. Moving the castle around. Please, my good archers, could I get past? Yeah, of course. If there's no other way, then okay. He moves on. The first bridge. Hello, hello. And there is another staircase here. It's a black one, so he can actually move up here, where he will meet the second bridge. My good Bart, could you please step aside for a moment? Yes, of course. Flying is not a problem for me. Oh, he lost his great feather. Like this. And then enters his audition with the leader of the Forestmen. I just had to show that it was possible to access all parts of the castle in like a real way. There are no need for flying anywhere. And that pretty much concludes the tour. I really hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it, that's for sure. I also bought the big new castle from Lego, the anniversary castle, and I'll be giving my thoughts on that in a future video. Hopefully they will not go as long time as with this video, but until then, people, have a good time. Bye bye.